Hello, everyone.
Welcome back to Master English Fast.
I'm Natasha, your host for today. If you're new here, I want to let you know that we upload a new English learning video every single day to help you improve your English faster and more naturally. In today's episode, you're going to learn something very useful for your everyday conversations. This lesson will not only help you build better English listening skills, but also sharpen your spoken English in real-life situations. Today, we are going to focus on a topic that's super important for speaking English confidently and naturally: 30 common English phrases for everyday use. These are the kinds of phrases that native speakers use without thinking. And by the end of this lesson, you'll be able to use them just as comfortably. These common English phrases are not just for grammar lessons or textbooks. They are the phrases you hear when someone greets you, when you're making plans, or when you're simply chatting with a friend or a colleague. These are everyday expressions that will help you understand spoken English better and respond more fluently, whether you're at the store, at work, on the phone, or chatting at home. These phrases will be useful in all kinds of daily life situations. In this video, I'll not only introduce you to these useful phrases, but I'll also show you how to use them in real-life conversations. And we'll have some practice exercises together, just like we're talking in real life. Before we jump in, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so you won't miss any of our future English learning episodes. It really helps us reach more learners like you and lets you keep your learning consistent every day. All right, now let's begin. So, grab a pen and paper and write down the phrases and examples that you find most helpful. Let's get started. Let's begin with the first set of common English phrases. One phrase you will often hear is, "What's up?" This is a very casual and friendly way to ask someone how they're doing. Instead of saying, "How are you?" which is more formal, people often say, "Hey, what's up?" or simply, "Sup?" It's a greeting, not a question about problems. A simple answer could be, "Not much," or "Just relaxing." Here's a short example. A. Hey, what's up? B. Not much, just watching a movie. Practice saying that aloud. Again, "Hey, what's up?" Not much. Try using this greeting today when you talk to someone informally. Another very useful phrase is, "I'm just looking." This is often used when you're shopping. Let's say you go into a store, and the shop assistant comes over and asks, "Can I help you with something?" You can politely say, "I'm just looking, thank you." This phrase helps you sound natural and polite, while also letting the person know you don't need help right now. Try to say it with me. "I'm just looking, thank you." Imagine yourself in a clothing store. The assistant approaches you and says, "Let me know if you need anything." You smile and reply, "I'm just looking, thanks." It's simple, but it's exactly what native speakers would say. Here's another phrase that comes up all the time. "That sounds great." You can use this to show agreement or excitement about an idea or suggestion. If your friend says, "Let's have dinner at the new place downtown," you can respond, "That sounds great." It's friendly and positive. Practice this. "That sounds great." Say it with enthusiasm. Now think of a situation. Your coworker says, "How about going to the park this weekend?" You answer, "That sounds great." This small phrase shows that you're engaged and interested in what someone is saying. Now, let's try, "I'm not sure." This phrase is so useful when you don't have an answer yet, or if you need time to think. It's softer than saying, "I don't know." For example, if someone asks, "Do you know what time the meeting is?" and you're uncertain, you could reply, "I'm not sure. I'll check and let you know." Try it now. "I'm not sure." Then add more if you like. "I'm not sure. Maybe around 3 o'clock?" This helps keep the conversation going. and shows that you're willing to help or follow up. Another essential phrase is, "It doesn't matter." This is a polite way to say that something is not important, or it's okay. For example, someone may say, "Sorry, I forgot to bring your book." And you can say, "It doesn't matter. Don't worry about it." This phrase helps you stay relaxed and kind in a conversation. Let's practice together. It doesn't matter. Say it with a calm and friendly tone. Think of a situation where a friend apologizes for being late. You smile and say, "It's okay. It doesn't matter." Now let's look at a practice exercise to help reinforce these phrases. Imagine you're at a coffee shop. Your friend walks in and says, "Hey, what's up?" You reply, "Not much, just getting some coffee." Then the server comes and asks, "Can I help you with anything?" You respond, "I'm just looking, thank you." Your friend then says, "Let's sit outside. The weather is nice." You say, "That sounds great." Later, your friend asks, "Do you know if Sarah is coming?" And you reply, "I'm not sure. I haven't talked to her today." She responds, "She might be late." And you say, "It doesn't matter. We'll wait." This short story uses many of the phrases we just learned. In a natural and flowing conversation, try to imagine yourself in that scene and practice speaking each line out loud. Speaking naturally in English is all about using simple and familiar phrases in the right situations. You don't have to use complex grammar or difficult vocabulary to sound fluent. What matters most is being comfortable with the kind of expressions native speakers use every day. These phrases act like building blocks for real conversation. You can mix them, repeat them, and slowly build longer dialogues. Another very common phrase that you'll hear a lot in everyday conversation is, "I'm on it." This simple phrase means that you're already doing the task, or that you're going to handle it immediately. For example, your boss says, "Can you send the report by 2 p.m.?" And you reply, "I'm on it." This phrase shows responsibility and willingness to take action quickly. Say it with me now. I'm on it. Think of a moment in your daily life where someone gives you a small job to do. Maybe your mom says, "Please take the trash out." And you say, "I'm on it." It's short, confident, and sounds like natural English. Now let's explore the phrase, "No worries." This one is extremely common in informal English, and it's used to tell someone not to stress or feel bad about something. It can replace, "You're welcome," or "It's okay." For instance, if someone says, "Sorry I'm late," you could respond with, "No worries." It's friendly, warm, and very casual. Repeat after me. No worries. Say it with a relaxed tone. Here's another scenario. A friend accidentally spills water on your table and says, "Oops, I'm so sorry." You smile and reply, "No worries, it's just water." Simple, right? But so useful in daily conversations. Another phrase that's great for polite conversations is, "That's a good question." You can use this when someone asks something and you need a moment to think, or if the question is complex. For example, your classmate says, "Why do we use have been in this sentence?" You can reply, "That's a good question," and then either explain it or think for a bit before answering. This phrase makes you sound thoughtful and polite. Practice saying it. That's a good question. You could also use it in a meeting when someone asks something unexpected and you need to buy a little time before you speak. Let's now learn the phrase, "I'll get back to you." This phrase means that you don't have the answer now, but you will respond later. Maybe your friend asks, "Are you free this weekend?" And you don't know yet, so you say, "I'll get back to you." It's polite and shows that you care enough to reply after checking your schedule. Say it with me. I'll get back to you. Another situation could be at work. Your teammate asks, "Can we meet tomorrow morning?" And you say, "I'll check my calendar and get back to you." Next is a very casual and fun phrase, "No big deal." This one is used when you want to tell someone that something isn't a problem at all. For example, someone says, "Thanks for helping me carry the bags." And you say, "No big deal." It's like saying, "It was nothing." Say it with me, "No big deal." Another moment. Your neighbor says, "I hope it wasn't too much trouble to water my plants." You say, "No big deal." I was happy to help. It makes your conversation sound more relaxed and natural. Another excellent phrase is, "fingers crossed." This is used when you are hoping for something to happen. You literally cross your fingers and say, "Fingers crossed." Let's say your sister has a job interview, and you say, "Good luck." Fingers crossed you get the job. It shows support and hope. Practice that now. Fingers crossed. Another scene. Your friend says, "I applied for a visa yesterday." And you say, "Fingers crossed it gets approved quickly." Let's add some practice now, using the phrases we've learned in this section. Imagine you're at work, and your colleague says, "Can you review this report today?" You respond with, "I'm on it." Later they say, "Thanks so much for doing it quickly." And you say, "No big deal." Then someone else says, "Sorry for the delay in sending the file." And you respond, "No worries." At lunchtime, a teammate asks, "Are you joining us for coffee?" And you're not sure, so you say, "I'll get back to you." During the break, someone asks you a difficult grammar question, and you reply, "That's a good question." Then you both talk about upcoming results, and you say, "Fingers crossed everything goes well." See how all these phrases come together to build natural conversations? Using common phrases like these helps you avoid awkward pauses. You don't have to overthink what to say when you already know how native speakers talk. These phrases also help you respond quickly and keep the conversation flowing. And that's a big part of sounding fluent. Not only knowing the words, but using them naturally in real time. Let's look at one more useful phrase in this section. It's up to you. You can use this when someone asks for your opinion, but you want to leave the decision. It's up to you. You can use this when someone asks for your opinion, but you want to leave the decision to them. It's a polite and respectful way of saying, "You decide." For example, if someone asks, "Should we watch a movie or go out for dinner?" You might say, "It's up to you. I'm okay with either." This gives the other person the power to decide and makes the conversation smoother. Say it now. It's up to you. Think about another scene. Your friend asks, "Should we meet at 5 or 6?" And you say, "It's up to you. Whatever works for you." It's simple, clear, and friendly. Another commonly used phrase is, "I didn't catch that." It means you didn't hear or understand what the other person just said. Maybe someone speaks too fast, or there's background noise. Instead of saying, "What?" or "Huh?" which can sound too direct or rude, say, "Sorry, I didn't catch that." For example, someone says, "I'll meet you by the fountain at the park," and you didn't hear it clearly. You reply, "Sorry, I didn't catch that. Could you say it again?" It's polite and helps you keep the conversation respectful. Practice it with me. "Sorry, I didn't catch that." Let's look at a phrase people use when they agree with someone completely. That phrase is, "I couldn't agree more." It means you totally agree. For instance, your friend says, "Learning English every day really helps." And you reply, "I couldn't agree more." You're showing that you strongly support what they said. Try using it now. Say it aloud. I couldn't agree more. Use it whenever you want to sound positive and supportive in a conversation. Here's another one. Let me think. This is useful when someone asks you a question and you need a few seconds before you answer. Maybe someone says, "What do you want to eat tonight?" And you're not sure yet. You can say, let me think. It gives you a small pause, while sounding natural. Try it now. Let me think. This is one of those phrases that helps you avoid silence while you prepare your thoughts. The next phrase is, it's not my thing. This means something is not really your interest or preference. If your friend invites you to a horror movie and you don't enjoy that kind of film, you could say, thanks, but horror movies are not my thing. You're not being rude, just honest. Repeat after me. It's not my thing. Another example, your colleague suggests going mountain biking on the weekend, and you say, honestly, biking's not my thing, but I hope you enjoy. Let's do a short dialogue to practice all these new phrases. Imagine you and a friend are planning a weekend. Your friend says, should we go hiking or have a barbecue? You say, it's up to you. Then they reply, I think barbecue sounds more fun. You say, I couldn't agree more. Later they say something you didn't quite hear. You say, sorry, I didn't catch that. Can you repeat it? They ask, what time should we start? And you say, let me think, maybe around 4? Then they ask, do you want to go for karaoke after? And you reply, thanks, but karaoke's not really my thing. This mini conversation helps you see how useful these phrases are in real-time interactions. Let's continue with a useful phrase. I'm not really sure. While we've already learned, I'm not sure, this version adds a little more softness and hesitation. You can use it when you're uncertain or when you want to avoid sounding too direct. For example, someone asks, is this the right train to the airport? And you say, I'm not really sure. You might want to ask the staff. It shows polite uncertainty. Practice it now. I'm not really sure. Now let's look at, it's kind of like. This phrase is helpful when you're explaining something by comparing it to something else. For example, if someone asks you, what's a podcast? You can say, it's kind of like a radio show, but on the internet. It helps people understand something new by relating it to something familiar. Say it aloud. It's kind of like. Try using it now. Explain what an audiobook is. It's kind of like listening to someone read a book out loud. Here's a very polite and useful phrase. Would you mind? You use it when asking someone to do something in a very courteous way. Instead of saying, can you open the window? You could say, would you mind opening the window? It's softer, and it shows respect. Repeat after me. Would you mind? Another example, would you mind helping me with this box? Or, would you mind turning the music down a little? Try practicing both polite tone and natural rhythm when saying this. Another one you'll hear a lot is, that makes sense. You say it when someone explains something, and you understand. For example, your teacher says, we use the past perfect to talk about something that happened before another past event. You can say, that makes sense. It shows that you followed the explanation. Say it with me. That makes sense. Use it in a daily scene. A friend says, I left early because the bus was delayed. And you say, yeah, that makes sense. Let's wrap up this part with a practice story. Imagine you're in a class, and the teacher explains a new grammar rule. You listen carefully, set the scenario, hey, and then say, that makes sense. Later, a classmate asks if you want to join the school drama club. You're not interested, so you say, it's not really my thing. Then someone asks for help with a project and says, would you mind helping me after class? You reply, sure, I'd be happy to. Another friend walks over and says something quickly. You say, "Sorry, I didn't catch that." Then they explain, "We're going to the cafe later. Want to come?" You pause and say, "Let me think. Maybe, but I'm not really sure yet." These simple phrases turn your English into real, everyday English. They're not fancy, but they are powerful tools for fluent conversation. Let's learn another helpful phrase. I'm just kidding. You'll hear this phrase when someone says something funny or sarcastic and wants to make it clear they were only joking. For example, your friend says, "You're always late," and you look surprised. Then they smile and say, "Relax, I'm just kidding." It shows humor and keeps the conversation light. Say it with me. I'm just kidding. Try using it in your everyday talk. Let's say you tease your sister and say, "You're the slowest eater in the world." And then you add quickly, "I'm just kidding." It helps people know you're being playful, not serious. Another useful phrase is, "It depends." We say this when the answer changes depending on the situation. For instance, someone asks, "Are you free this weekend?" And you say, "It depends. I might have family coming over." It's simple, flexible, and useful in many conversations. Try saying it. It depends. You could also use it like this. A friend says, "Do you like working from home?" And you say, "It depends on the kind of work I'm doing." This phrase helps you explain without giving a direct yes or no. Here's another practical one. That sounds good. You can say this when you agree with someone's idea or plan. For example, your friend says, "Let's meet at 5 and grab some coffee." And you reply, "That sounds good." It's friendly and easy to say. Practice with me. That sounds good. You could also use it in a work setting. Your coworker says, "Let's finalize the report before lunch." And you say, "That sounds good to me." It shows you agree and are ready to proceed. Now let's talk about "I'm in." This is a short way of saying "I agree" or "I want to join." If someone says, "We're going to the beach on Saturday, want to come?" and you're excited, you say, "I'm in." It shows enthusiasm and commitment. Say it aloud. I'm in. Another situation. Your team is planning a group study session, and they ask, "Are you free tomorrow evening?" You respond, "Count me in. I'm in." These short phrases make you sound more confident and involved. Let's also learn "I can't wait." This is used when you're really excited about something that's going to happen. For example, "I can't wait for the weekend," or "I can't wait to watch that movie." It shows strong anticipation and enthusiasm. Say it now. I can't wait. Use it in daily life too. Your friend says, "We're having pizza tonight," and you reply, "Awesome! I can't wait." Now let's do a little practice story using all these new phrases. Imagine you're with a group of friends planning your weekend. One of them says, "Let's go for a picnic." You say, "That sounds good." Another says, "We'll leave at 10. You smile and say, "I'm in." Then someone jokes, "Just don't be late like last time." And you laugh and reply, "I'm just kidding." Then your friend says, "Do you want to drive or take the train?" You say, "It depends on the weather." The group agrees and you say, "I can't wait." These expressions make the conversation flow naturally and keep it fun and friendly. Let's move to a very supportive phrase. You can do it. We say this when we want to encourage someone. Maybe your friend is nervous before an exam, and you say, "Don't worry, you can do it." It gives them confidence. Practice saying it. You can do it. Imagine your brother is learning how to ride a bike, and he falls once. You help him up and say, "Try again. You can do it." Encouraging phrases like this are simple, but powerful. Now let's learn "take your time." This means don't rush, or do it at your own pace. For example, someone says, "Sorry, I'm still working on the assignment," and you say, "Take your time." It's a kind way to tell someone that there's no pressure. Say it aloud. Take your time. You could use it with a classmate, a family member, or even someone at work. If your sister is writing a message and taking a while, say, "No hurry, take your time." Here's another important one. I get it. This is short for I understand. If someone is explaining a problem to you and you want to show you understand, say, I get it. For example, a friend says, "I've been feeling tired because I have too much work." And you nod and say, "Yeah, I get it." Try saying it now. I get it. It makes you sound understanding and empathetic. Let's also add, I messed up. It means you made a mistake. You can use this when you want to admit that something didn't go right. For example, I forgot to email the file. I messed up. It's an honest and responsible way to admit your error. Say it. I messed up. Another scene. You're working on a group project and you print the wrong report. You say, I messed up. I'll fix it now. It's okay to make mistakes. Admitting them helps build trust in communication. Let's practice using these new phrases in a short scenario. You're working on a school project with your friends. One of them says they'll bring the posters tomorrow, and you say, take your time, no stress. Another friend says, I'm not sure if I'll finish on time, and you encourage them, you can do it. Later, you explain the plan, and your friend says, I get it now. But suddenly, you realize you emailed the wrong file and say, I messed up. I'll resend the correct one. They reply, no problem. This simple exchange shows how everyday phrases create smoother, kinder, and more fluent conversations. Using phrases like these every day makes you more comfortable in both speaking and listening. They help you avoid searching for words and allow you to respond naturally. Keep practicing them not just by reading or listening, but by using them out loud in your daily conversations. You'll notice a big difference in how confident and fluent you feel. Let's learn another very common phrase. That's a good question. You can use this when someone asks you something, and you want to show that their question is thoughtful or interesting. It also gives you a moment to think before answering. For example, if someone asks you, why do we say used to for past habits? You can reply, that's a good question. This buys you a little time to gather your thoughts, while also appreciating their curiosity. Try using it in your daily talk. If your coworker or classmate asks, why did they change the schedule? You can reply, that's a good question. I'm not sure either. Another important phrase is, that's true. This is a great way to agree with someone in a conversation. For example, your friend says, English is easier to learn when you practice every day. And you can reply, that's true. It's short, clear, and shows agreement. Practice saying it now. That's true. Imagine a friend says, it's hard to stay focused when your phone keeps buzzing. And you say, yeah, that's true. It keeps the conversation natural and flowing. Let's talk about what do you mean. This phrase is useful when someone says something you don't fully understand and you want clarification. Maybe someone says, that test was bananas. And you're confused. You ask, what do you mean? It's polite and invites explanation. Say it aloud. What do you mean? You might use it in this way. A friend says, I'm ghosting social media for a while. And you reply, what do you mean by ghosting? These small questions show interest and help you learn more vocabulary naturally. Here's another helpful phrase. That's interesting. Use it when someone tells you something new or surprising, and you want to show that you're paying attention. For example, your teacher says, some English words have changed meaning over time. And you respond, that's interesting. It shows you're engaged in the conversation. Repeat after me. That's interesting. Use it in casual talk, too. Your friend tells you, I met someone who speaks 5 languages. And you reply, Wow, that's interesting. Now let's learn I see what you mean. This is used when you finally understand someone's point or idea after they explain it. For example, a friend says, I think the movie was too long, and you didn't agree at first. But after some thought, you say, I see what you mean. It's a respectful way to accept another point of view. Practice it aloud. I see what you mean. It's great for daily life and polite discussion. Let's do a quick practice story with these phrases. Imagine you're in a discussion group. Someone says, I think English grammar is more difficult than vocabulary. And you respond, That's a good question. I wonder why that is. Another member adds, Because grammar has too many rules. And you say, That's true. Then someone uses a phrase you don't understand, and you ask, What do you mean? After they explain, you say, Oh, I see what you mean. That's interesting. These phrases help you sound thoughtful and respectful in group conversations. Now here's another very common one. No worries. This phrase means it's okay or don't worry about it. For example, someone says, Sorry I'm late, and you say, No worries. It keeps things light and relaxed. Practice it. No worries. Use it when someone apologizes or when something small goes wrong. A classmate forgets their book and says sorry. You reply, No worries, I've got an extra. Let's also learn, I'll take care of it. This means you will handle a task or problem. For example, your boss says, Can someone check the report before sending it? And you say, I'll take care of it. It shows responsibility and reliability. Try it now. I'll take care of it. Another example, your roommate says, We need to buy groceries. And you say, Don't worry, I'll take care of it after work. Simple phrases like these show initiative. Another phrase is, That's not what I meant. You use this when someone misunderstands you and you want to clarify. Let's say you tell someone, You should speak louder, and they think you're being rude. You can say, Oh no, that's not what I meant. I just meant the music was loud. It helps fix confusion politely. Repeat, That's not what I meant. It's a useful phrase to keep conversations smooth and positive. Here's another polite way to join a conversation. Can I add something? If you're in a discussion and want to share your opinion, just say, Can I add something? It's polite and helps you participate. For example, your classmates are talking about online learning and you want to share your thoughts. You raise your hand and say, Can I add something? Then you speak. This phrase is great for classroom or team settings. Say it now. Can I add something? Let's look at a short practice scene. You're in a group discussion at work. A colleague apologizes for missing a deadline. You say, No worries. Then your manager says, Who can update the report? And you answer, I'll take care of it. Someone misunderstands your suggestion, and you say, That's not what I meant. Then, while others are sharing their views, you raise your hand and say, Can I add something? These polite and simple phrases help you become a more confident speaker. Let's go over one more helpful phrase. I'll be right back. This is used when you need to leave for a short time and want to let others know. For example, in a meeting, you say, Excuse me, I'll be right back. It shows that you're not leaving for long and keeps communication clear. Say it aloud, I'll be right back. Another example, you're at a restaurant with friends and you need to go to the restroom. You say, I'll be right back. Now here's one more. Let me know. This means tell me when you have more information. For example, you say to your friend, Let me know when you're free to meet. It's casual and friendly. Try it now. Let me know. You can use it at work too. Let me know if there are any changes to the schedule. Let's use these in a final short story. You're working on a project and need to step out. You say, "I'll be right back." While leaving, you tell your coworker, "Let me know if the boss calls." A few minutes later, you return and someone says, "There was a small issue." You smile and reply, "No worries." They ask, "Can you update the report?" You say, "I'll take care of it." Someone adds, "The client didn't like the presentation." And you say, "That's not what I meant to present. Let me explain." All these phrases work together to help you sound natural and fluent in English. Let's learn the phrase. That makes sense. This is a polite way to show someone that you understand their explanation or idea. For example, if someone explains why they were late, "I missed the bus because of traffic," you can say, "Ah, that makes sense." It's friendly and reassuring. Try it now. That makes sense. It helps keep conversations smooth, especially in discussions where people are sharing reasons or opinions. Imagine your teacher says, "We'll review grammar first because it's the hardest part." And you say, "That makes sense." It shows respect and understanding. Another phrase we use a lot is, "I'm on my way." You say this when you're going somewhere and want to let someone know you're already coming. For example, your friend calls and says, "Where are you?" And you respond, "I'm on my way." It's casual, but very common in phone or text conversations. Practice it now. I'm on my way. You could also say it in a more specific sentence like, "Don't worry, I'm on my way to the meeting. Now, let's talk about, I didn't catch that." This is a polite way to say you didn't hear or understand something. You might be on a phone call and the person speaks too quickly. You can say, "Sorry, I didn't catch that. Could you repeat it?" It's much better than simply saying, "What?" Practice it with me. I didn't catch that. Use it when you're in class and the teacher says something fast. Raise your hand and say, "Sorry, I didn't catch that last part." Here's another phrase for daily life. Is everything okay? This is how we check on someone who looks worried or upset. It shows care and concern. For example, your friend looks stressed, so you say gently, "Hey, is everything okay?" It's a great way to show emotional support in conversations. Try it now. Is everything okay? Use it with family, coworkers, classmates, anyone who might need a kind word. Let's also learn, not really. This is used to give a soft no to something. For example, someone asks, "Do you like spicy food?" And you say, "Not really." It sounds polite and less direct than saying no. Practice it, not really. Here's another example. "Did you enjoy the movie?" And you say, "Not really. It was too slow for me." This phrase helps you express honest opinions in a respectful way. Let's do a short conversation example with these new phrases. You're meeting a friend for coffee. You call and say, "I'm on my way." When you arrive, your friend seems a little quiet. You ask, "Is everything okay?" They say, "Sorry, I was just thinking about work." You reply, "Ah, that makes sense." They say something softly and you didn't hear it, so you say, "Sorry, I didn't catch that." Then they ask, "Did you like the new restaurant?" And you answer honestly, "Not really." This small dialogue shows how these expressions help you build caring, natural conversations. Now let's keep in touch. You use this when you want to stay connected with someone, especially after meeting them or saying goodbye. For example, "It was great working with you. Let's keep in touch." It's friendly and shows interest in the relationship. Practice it now. Let's keep in touch. Another example, you meet someone at a seminar and say, "I'd love to learn more from you. Let's keep in touch." Another powerful phrase is, I'm proud of you. Use this to encourage and support others. Say it to a friend who passed an exam. Wow, I'm proud of you. It makes people feel appreciated. Try it. I'm proud of you. Say it to a sibling who learned something new, or to a coworker who did a great job. Encouraging words are essential in building strong, positive connections. Let's also learn, it's up to you. This means you can decide. For example, your friend says, should we eat pizza or burgers? And you reply, it's up to you. It puts the decision in their hands. Practice it. It's up to you. Use it when helping someone make a choice. Maybe your classmate says, should we do the easy topic or the hard one first? And you say, it's up to you. It's flexible and polite. Another phrase is, I can't believe it. This is used when you're surprised or shocked, both in good and bad ways. For example, you win a prize and say, I can't believe it. Or, when you hear unexpected news, you can say the same phrase. Say it with feeling, I can't believe it. It adds expression and emotion to your speaking. You can also say it with a smile. I can't believe it. We actually finished the project on time. Let's use all these phrases in a final practice scene. Imagine you're leaving a training workshop. You tell your classmate, let's keep in touch. They smile and say, I'm proud of you. Your presentation was great. You say, thanks. I can't believe I did it without freezing up. Then you offer lunch ideas and your friend says, it's up to you. You suggest burgers. Later you ask, is everything okay? When they seem quiet, they say something softly and you reply, sorry, I didn't catch that. They say, just thinking about my next steps. And you respond, that makes sense. Then you both head out and say goodbye. As we keep going, remember that learning phrases is not just about repeating them. It's about understanding how and when to use them. Using these expressions regularly makes your English sound more fluent and comfortable. Try choosing 2 or 3 phrases each day to focus on. Practice them aloud. Use them in your daily texts, and try to listen for them in shows, podcasts, or real-life conversations. The more you expose yourself to natural English, the faster your mind will absorb the patterns, rhythm, and phrases. Don't worry about mistakes. Just keep practicing. Your confidence will grow, and soon, you'll be able to express yourself clearly, kindly, and confidently in any situation. As we wrap up today's lesson, let's review one final phrase. Take your time. This phrase is used to tell someone they don't need to hurry. It's a kind and gentle way to help others feel relaxed. For example, someone is feeling stressed about answering quickly, and you say, take your time. There's no rush. Try saying it now. Take your time. You can use it with friends, coworkers, family members. Anytime someone is under pressure. In a conversation, it sounds like this. I know this decision is tough, so take your time. It shows empathy and care. Let's also look at the phrase, it depends. This one is very useful when you can't give a yes or no answer directly. For example, someone asks, do you like working from home? And you say, it depends. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. It gives you space to explain your answer more clearly. Practice saying it depends. You can also say, it depends on the situation, or it depends on the weather. This phrase adds flexibility to your English and is used often by native speakers. Now imagine a short daily life scene using these final 2 phrases. A friend asks, do you want to go for a walk after work? You smile and say, it depends. If it's not raining, then yes. Later, they seem rushed while choosing a gift for someone. You say gently, "Take your time. You'll find something perfect." These phrases show understanding and help make conversations more supportive and human. At this point, you've now practiced 30 powerful everyday English phrases. These are expressions that native speakers use all the time in normal conversations, at work, at home, with friends, and even with strangers. The more you practice using them in context, the easier they will become for you to say naturally and confidently. Remember, practice is not only about repeating words, it's about using them in real conversations, listening for them in English content, and feeling confident when it's your turn to speak. Here's a quick challenge for you. For the next 7 days, pick 5 phrases from this video and use them in your daily life. You can speak them out loud when you're alone, write them in your journal, or use them in a text message or a comment online. Every small use helps your brain remember them more deeply and helps you become more fluent over time. Don't try to memorize all 30 at once. Instead, focus on a few and really understand how and when to use them. And if you feel unsure or forget one, don't be discouraged. That's part of the learning process. Fluency doesn't mean perfection. It means being able to express your thoughts clearly and naturally, even if you make mistakes. Keep listening to English. Keep practicing phrases like these, and you'll be amazed at how fast your speaking skills improve. Thank you so much for joining me in today's episode. I hope you found these 30 common English phrases useful and practical. If you enjoyed this lesson, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, English in Minutes, and click the bell icon so you never miss a video. We upload new lessons every day to help you improve your English in small, manageable steps. I'm Natasha, and I'll see you in the next video. Until then, take care and keep practicing. Bye for now.